Hey guys, welcome to our belated review of the final installation of The Hobbit. Woohoo! The best part, I think, about walking out of that movie was the fact that you are done. You do not have to wait for another one. Franchise over with. Nobody is selling them the rights anymore. You are free.
Okay, so I have to say that as much as I didn't really like The Hobbit gave me Lee Pace. So, Lee Pace and King Thranduil, and I loved him. I love Thranduil. He was probably my favorite character in the entire movies.
Yeah, he's good. He was fun. But the rest of it. Like, oh, just parts of it I was watching and I'm like, this doesn't even make sense. Like, you know the part where Legolas is fighting the orcs and the tower falls down?
Yeah.
And then it proceeds to crumble from the bottom?
Yeah.
I was like...
You don't understand. Orlando Bloom ruins physics. Like, when Orlando Bloom is somewhere, physics stop working. Like, Orlando Bloom can control physics to his will.
Because if that tower was going to crumble, it was going to crumble when it hit the thing, and it would have shattered into pieces. Not like, hey, look, I'm made out of sand, and now I'm just going to slowly...
Is magical.
Yeah. And I just watched that scene, I was like, this is so stupid. This is...
Okay, so, Hobbit, the Battle of Five Armies. This movie opens up. There will be lots of spoilers in this review because we're not going to hold anything back. So, opens up, and we are back in Lake Town, and our favorite dragon, Smaug, is just, like, flapping around and just destroying everything. And
oh my god. This scene.
Okay. I love Smaug. I love him. I think they did him, like...
He was the best part.
He was beautiful. Like, how far digital animation has come since the first Lord of the Rings. Like, Gollum is still mind-blowing from the first Lord of the Rings, but like, how crazy it is now, especially with Smaug. Like, what they were capable of doing with this dragon. What they used that for to do with this dragon
was pretty fucking useless.
Because, like, okay, for my first big problem is Smaug's only there for, like, 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't they put this at the end of Desolation?
It would have made more sense.
Because now it's just like, haha, I used a dragon one more time. Oh, dragon's gone. Okay, bye.
And big budget CGI part. Yay. What I found hilarious about this goddamn scene was the fact that, like, okay, Smaug's like, oh, you can't protect your child. So he uses his child as, like, a bow stand. And he puts the arrow over the kid's shoulder. And then he draws back the string and lets it go. He would have decapitated his kid.
Okay, he might not have decapitated his kid because there was enough between the... But those... The feathers, those metal feathers, would have, like, sliced through it. Like,
no, I have a feeling that bowstring, because he's pulling it back far, it's got to, like, snap to an equilibrium, which is where he was standing.
When you pull back a bow, the string will never go past the arms. So if the arms are here, the string's never going to go far enough to actually hit the kid. Like, that won't happen. But it depends on where he stands. It looked like he was standing, like, right where the kid was.
Like, the things were here. And
they, okay, so he takes the arms of the bow and, like, into the thing. And I'm sitting there with my friend, and we both shoot. And my friend's just like, so, hey, you want to come over? Your bow, you can take your bow apart. We can actually recreate this. And I'm just like, no! We are not trying this. He's like, come on, you want to. And I'm like, I know I want to, but no!
But anyways, that would have resulted in a very dead kid.
Yeah, or a very injured one.
Yeah. So that was just silly, and I laughed for a while.
And so then basically everyone in Lake Town goes to the shore, and Bard is just like, oh, we gotta do stuff, we gotta survive, and what the hell? Like, why are we so focused on, like, Stephen Fry's, like, minion? Why is all of a sudden Stephen Fry have more time on screen than Martin Freeman?
Because we need stuff to happen.
For a movie called The Hobbit, there is very little Hobbit happening, guys.
Oh, the minion was, like, the comic relief. Like, they're like, we need to lighten this up somehow, so do your thing. He's amusing.
I think my favorite scene with them was Bard puts him on night watch. And he's like, oh yeah, nothing got passed. And Bard looks over, yeah, nothing but like an entire company of elves. And I'm just like, oh!
I don't know, kind of like the part where he like dresses up as a woman and he's like trying to like shove
money into his
bra.
chest.
And the women are like, what is wrong with you?
So basically the plot ends fairly soon after, because what happens is they want to go to the mountain because Lake Town's been destroyed. So they hang out in Dale and they want to go and like winter in the mountain, but Thorin has gotten dragon fever, which we'll talk about, and won't let them in, and the elves show up, and the elves want into the mountain because Thranduil wants the jewels that are in the mountain, and of course Thorin says no, and Thranduil, being the drama queen that he is willing to start a war. So, yay everybody! Standing on the pinnacle of this night before everything goes to hell.
And then Bilbo's like, well, this is fucking stupid. So he takes the Arkenstone and off he runs to Gandalf and the elves. And he's like, well, here's your bargaining chip. He needs this. And yeah, that works out.
Martin Freeman was the perfect Bilbo. I think he was amazing as Bilbo.
I do too.
Like, yeah.
He's just adorable, and
I like the nose thing. He's always like twitching his nose. And okay, I do love the bromance between Thorin and Bilbo.
Alright.
I do like there are scenes that I liked, that I really, really liked, but as a whole I didn't like the movie. But there's a scene between Thorin and Bilbo where Thorin comes across Bilbo and Bilbo's looking at something and Thorin has gone crazy and he thinks that everyone's betrayed him. He's like, oh, what do you have there? And Bilbo has an acorn that he took from Bjorn's house. And he's like, oh, I'm going to bring it to my garden. I'm going to plant it. And Thorin's just like, oh, that's not a really good, like, gift or, like, something to take away. And he's like, no, I'll plant it and it'll grow and I'll look at it and I'll remember. And, Thorin starts to come around and then frickin' everybody shows up at Dale and interrupts it.
Oh, well. And then basically shit just goes down. The orcs come, the goblins come.
Okay. Wereworms. Okay. Fascinating. I completely and totally obsessed about this. 3 things. There is actually one reference in The Hobbit. There's one reference, and I found it.
Okay.
When Bilbo's talking about his contract and being like, oh, I'd go fight the werewolves of the East to like get a thing, and I'm just like, okay, that's like the one reference. In a video game, one of the video game adaptations, there's a side quest where you fight them. Or there's what I think basically happened was because Tolkien refers to dragons as worms and someone just decided to take it literally. Yay!
That was just random. That was just unnecessary. They were there for 5 seconds and then they were gone. Because they're like, hey, we need something to get these people from point A to point B. Here.
So now we have orcs. And we have my other favorite character, Dane. Dane was wonderful. This crazy Scottish dwarf riding a pig.
I'm pretty sure that was Mike Myers, too.
No, it wasn't. You know who it was? It was the guy who voiced the dad in Brave.
Oh.
I think his last name's Connolly.
Okay.
He
sounded a lot like Mike Myers.
He's just this really, really angry Scottish dwarf.
Riding a pig.
Because he can. Insult Thranduil, who's riding an elk. Because everybody wants to ride things
that are not.
At one point, we got dwarves riding goats. I guess it makes sense, goats and mountains and stuff, but...
Yes. I don't know, I thought it was pretty cool when they were riding the goats up the mountain. Yeah. That was cool.
Yeah.
I guess.
The one part of the movie I really, really liked was the White Council dealing with the necromancer.
Yeah.
I felt like I was watching a video game, but it was awesome. I mean, seeing, like, Saruman fight was, like, the best thing ever, and, like, Elrond in full armor, and just Galadriel just, like, laying waste to everything.
Yeah, that was kind of fun. You're like, okay, finally, we've taken our big boys out for a spin. Like, let's watch this.
It's great, because, like, okay, I read this post on Tumblr, and I think this really, really applies. Elrond. Poor Elrond. Think of just... Elrond approaches Isildur. Elrond's like, cast it into the fire. And Isildur's like, no. Elrond's like, okay. Oh crap, guys. Sauron is like legit back. We should do something. And Saruman's just like, he doesn't have the ring. It'll be fine. Take Galadriel to Lothlorien. Okay, fine. And then finally, the Fellowship of the Ring, Council of Elrond. We are going to destroy this thing. I don't care. Nope, shut up. We're figuring this out.
Yeah.
Kind of turns him into a bit of a pushover.
Yeah.
This crazy, great elf lord.
I don't know. Elves have their own things going on.
The ring race were awesome.
Yeah. Anyways, the part I was kind of most excited for was actually Bilbo coming home. That was always kind of the part I was always excited for in both books, was like the ending, where you go back home and things aren't quite how you left it. It's worse than Lord of the Rings, like the actual book, but
starring in Shire.
But you go home and you try and fit back into your old life, and it never quite works out. And I love the fact that they're like selling off all his stuff, and he has to like buy back all his crap. And his like nosy neighbors are like going through all his stuff.
The Sackville bag.
Yeah, they've always wanted to get their hands on his crap. So
I like the scene right before that where he said goodbye to all the dwarves. That kind of I teared up a little bit. Where he's like, "Tea is served at 4," and I'm just like,
you're just like, oh yeah.
But we didn't talk about death because death is big.
Yeah,
we got a lot of people dying.
I just find the elf romance, the elf dwarf romance, is just like, why? Why is this?
I have no problem with adding a female elf character. Like,
oh, that's
cool,
fine.
Awesome, great, female characters, cool. But why does it have to be for a romance?
Because it's the only way she's legitimized. Like, she's not good for anything else.
I could have dealt with the possible, like, somewhat not reciprocated Legolas romance. I could have dealt with that. But having to be, like, a dwarf, like, the only way that Tauriel can be running around is if she's in this love triangle with Legolas and Keely or Feely.
One of the hot dwarves. It made me sad, too, because I loved kind of the way those two went out in the books. Like, just broke my heart a little bit, like, because, in the original book, there was just, like, this pile of bodies of orcs and stuff like that, and they're, like, digging through them, trying to find Thorin, and at the bottom is, like, Feely and Keely kind of just, like, on top of Thorin, because they were just protecting him from everything. And that kind of spoke to me more than this stupid romance ever really did, and the two of them just kind of, like, kicking the bucket separately, because they were always, like, those two were a team, right?
You want to know something really sad?
What?
They filmed a scene where instead of Thorin in the ice battle with Azog, that Feely and Keely died protecting him. They filmed that. That exists. That is a thing that exists.
Extended DVDs, please?
I liked the first death. I liked how they did that. I liked how just it was very, very violent how they killed off the first dwarf. How Azog has him and just, like, kills them in front of everybody. Because, like, you can feel the brothers' rage.
Yeah.
And, like, that made a lot of sense to me. That was really well done. But the other death was just kind of And then, Thorin, why did you stand over the ice? My God. We've spent all this time building up that, okay, you're smart. I mean, you're stupid, but you're smart. You're not going to just, like, oh, did I kill him?
Oh, look. No, it wasn't even, oh, did I kill him? It's like, oh, look, I can see his body. Oh, look at that. There he goes. Oh, fuck. Like, just... That was just silly.
And then okay. If you're going to push a stupid romance on me, they should have let Tauriel kill the Bog, whatever Azog's kid's name was. No, she couldn't do it. Legolas has to come in and kill the stupid troll.
Because she can't.
It
was just...
Give me that one thing.
All the things they added is my problem. Like, were unnecessary. Like, there's so much I could take out of these movies and be really, really happy.
Yeah.
I want somebody to do, like, a 2-movie length fans cut, I guess we could call it.
You know what I'm doing once the extended. I actually made a deal with one of my friends. I'm doing that. We're locking ourselves up in a basement.
Figuring out how to watch it.
Yeah, we're going to cut it down to 2 movies.
Perfect.
We're just waiting for the last extended edition to come out in case there is something that, you know.
Too bad you can't distribute that.
I know, right?
But for your own comfort, you will be happy.
Even though I will still be doing the Middle-earth Marathon.
You know what you should do, though?
What?
You should post exactly how to cut it.
That's a good idea. I like that idea.
Yeah.
So
you'll have to keep crazy records, but...
Yeah, I mean, with The Hobbit, I'm stuck in this really, really weird situation where I love The Lord of the Rings. I love The Hobbit. There's the weird little part of me that's so happy that it was 3 movies and that they drag out. And then there's the part of me that's just like this. The stuff that they added kind of sucked. And I know it came from a place of love with Peter Jackson. I know money was definitely involved this time around. But it came from a place of love. But I don't feel the same need to rewatch them like watching The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I don't think that their rewatch value is as strong. You're not as attached to the characters. You're not.
Mm-hmm.
There's cool things to watch, but it's not incredible.
I think this is a prediction that they relied really heavily on effects in this movie, a lot more than they did in the Lord of the Rings. I think this is going to date itself faster.
I agree.
Like, if I look back at the Lord of the Rings, the only things that kind of date it are the Ents and that one really awkward transition in the Fellowship of the Ring.
That's it. Yeah.
That's it. Everything else, it still holds up fairly well. And those movies are over 10 years old now.
Which is insane.
What?
I know. So, anyways, I'm glad it's over. I'm glad I don't have to wait. I'm glad it's done. I'm glad I can pretend that it was something good.
There are things that I valued. I loved Thranduil. I loved the casting was spot on. Like, all of the casting. I loved seeing Ian McKellen being Gandalf again because Ian McKellen is wonderful, and seeing Christopher. Like, I loved most of the cameos of people coming back. I loved being back in Middle-earth. But it didn't have to be 3 movies, guys.
It really didn't.
It really didn't.
And just, I feel like they missed the essence of the book. Like, they wanted it to have the same essence of Lord of the Rings, but that's not how that works. Like, The Hobbit is its own story, and it should have been able to stand on its own with its own.
And The Hobbit is silly. Like, it's a bedtime story for kids.
Yeah.
Look at the freaking dwarves' names. Come on. It's silly. Also, who got really teared up about Balin?
Yeah.
And I didn't realize this, but in the Hobbit, Balin is the only one who ever goes back and visits Bilbo.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day he just stops showing up. And I mean, Lord of the Rings, they go to Moria and they find Balin's tomb, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, Bilbo.
Oh, God.
Favorite dwarf?
I guess it's Thorin. I don't know. I don't know if I had a favorite dwarf.
First movie, I think Beaufort, the guy with the hat.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy eyes.
Yeah.
He had some of the best lines.
Yeah. I don't know. They kind of phased out the dwarves after one. They were just kind of background scenery.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, we need somebody to say this. Pick a dwarf. But anyways.
I have to say, it did give us some pretty awesome CGI.
It did, but...
Smaug, freaking Goblin King.
But they could have done that. Yeah, they could have done that anywhere.
So yeah, guys, what did you think about The Hobbit? Did you like it? Did you not? Why? Why not? Am I just crazy?
I think you're crazy.
I think I am crazy.
But I think you're also right. So, there we go. All right. Bye, guys.